Well, a very good afternoon to you if you are joining us via the ECB live stream or Sky Sports YouTube channel for the final of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Charles Degnall with you alongside England bowler Katie George. We also have Rosalie Birch, former England international, and Emily Windsor will be joining us as well. Emily just been performing for the Southern Vipers in defeat to the Northern Diamonds in the eliminator game. Now the Northern Diamonds got through by a margin of 18 runs, and now they take on the South East Stars, who topped Group A. They've been watching on, and the toss took place around about half an hour ago. Diamonds won the toss and elected to bat first. It served them well in the semi-finals. They are unchanged from the side that beat the Vipers just a couple of, about an hour ago. Bess Heath, Leah Dobson, Lauren Winfield-Hill, who batted so beautifully in that first game. Holly Armitage, the captain, Steer Callis, Jenny Gunn, Lindsay Smith, Rachel Hopkins, Liz McDonald, Rachel Slater and Katie Levick. As for the South East Stars, they line up as Bryony Smith, Kirsty White, Alice Capsey, had such a good 100, as did Alice Davidson-Richards, Ailish Cranston, Phoebe Franklin, Grace Gibbs, Emma Jones, Kalia Moore, Kira Chatley, Danny Gregory makes up the 11. So, almost ready to get underway. It is baking hot where we are situated up in the gantry. I feel like Martin Tyler at a football game. We're in the gantry rather than the air-conditioned of the commentary box that we usually get. It wasn't a good day to wear all black, let me tell you. Absolutely melting, but delighted to be covering this final. Ready to get underway, and Alice Capsey it is to start things off. A decent total achieved in the eliminator, the sort of semi-final, if you will. Earlier on today, 135 for 6, the Northern Diamonds, 117 all out, the Southern Vipers. Hard away by Bess Heath, Leah Dobson, who both didn't start well for the Diamonds. Wondered if they might change the order around, but they've stuck with what's worked so far. A very good afternoon to Katie George, who's alongside us for the eliminator game.
I'm interested to see if these two look to hit a little bit straighter than they perhaps did in the earlier game.
Leading edge just beyond extra cover. First runs of the afternoon for the Northern Diamonds. And maybe just actually playing into what you were talking about there, Katie. That's trying to hit across the line, that leading edge. And I'm with you, I think there's mileage in hitting it straight.
I think if we saw how Lauren Winfield-Hill played, you know, there was a lot of shots through the fee, and then anything short she latched onto.
It's better, just a single. Deep field for Alice Capsey is a long on and a deep mid-wicket. Do like the fact they started off with a slip as well. Just a little attacking nod. Capsey, who really burst onto superstardom in the women's game during the 100 for the Oval Invincibles. Little surprised not to see her involved in the T20 squad for these internationals against New Zealand.
It's probably not too much more she could do.
A little bit of gift, could have got the treatment, but content to stay with one. So the first over gone, and Northern Diamonds 4 without loss. I mean, there's many who impressed during the 100 as well. Thinking of someone like Danielle Gibson for the London Spirit. And you also look at England's needs a little bit. That's why they've gone with Maya Bouchier, middle order power hitters.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why Capsey hasn't perhaps been called up. they are looking for that sort of number 5, number 6 to sort of finish innings. I know that she came in a little bit earlier than perhaps England wanted her to, but I think Maibush showed, you know, a lot of promise in her innings. It was very mature on debut.
Yeah, very much so. So, Clear Moore. It's going to be spin at both ends to kick things off for the South East Stars.
She actually played for the Superchargers during the 100.
A little bit of width. It's a dangerous game to play as well. 4 in the offside ring. No cover fielder on the boundary. Once again, 2 deep fielders, a long on and deep mid wicket, so dangerous to bowl with.
2 she's missed out on.
Quick single taken, has to be swift as well. In fact, just managed to get home. Touch and go. Again, just looking at this line that is being bowled by Kalia Moore.
Just going on with the arm, isn't it, a little bit?
What it does do, though, it does give the batters opportunity to free the arms, and okay, they've hit the fielders so far. One's going to get through. That's better for me.
She heard you.
Slightly slower from Moore. Just a reminder, the South East Stars getting through, won 5 out of their 6, 21 points, topping Group A. Fabulous record. That's an excellent over. I still think she's played a dangerous game, but be that as it may, just a single coming off the second over, and a similar type of start to the innings from Dobson and Bess Heath.
Yeah, very similar, and I think, you know, they'll be a little bit cross with themselves for not squeezing one through that offside field. You know, that could have perhaps gone for maybe even 8 runs. But those are the finer margins in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes you can be forgiven for trying to overhit the ball as well. Dobson and Heath, you know, really giving it the beans. And in that sense, actually, what's more productive is maybe just squeezing it into gaps, and nothing wrong with the striking, just finding fielders.
I think I've just watched a replay, and they sort of closed their bottom hands on it, so they're almost not quite getting the contact they wish for through the offside.
It's a lot slower from Alice Capsey. I just wonder if we're seeing a similar type of innings to what we saw earlier on. Slow start, trying to get it away, but pressure building. Release the pressure somewhat, be a couple on offer here for Heath. Worth reminding, the South East Stars without Tash Farrant, who's on England duty. Not played a huge amount. Again, hammered. Capsey can't stop it. She may have just got a little bit of hand on that, take the sting out of the ball, which allowed Long On to come over and do the fielding without it going to the boundary. But again, nothing wrong with the strike.
Definitely a better option there from Bess Heath. Hitting straight back down the ground.
Hammered away, but protection in place for Capsey. Perfect fielding position, just the single taken. This is a good start for the South East Stars. I just wonder as well, this is energy sapping heat. It really is very warm at the Ageas Bowl. It's nicely played. There we go. Much more controlled nature about the shot. First boundary of the afternoon for the Northern Diamonds. Much better looking, a little bit calmer from Heath. And after 3 overs, the Diamonds 14 without loss.
That was a gorgeous shot through the covers, wasn't it? Just looked like they're settling down a little bit.
I was just going on to say about the heat, that sometimes you wonder, is it better to have played a game so you're in the groove, rather than South East Stars who are coming in fresh, granted, but don't know the pace of the pitch or the areas to hit perhaps. But I just wonder on a day like today, where it is hot, if actually coming in fresh is a much better thing.
I think there's an argument for both, isn't there? I mean, with this heat, I think I'd rather have been sat in the shade watching the game previously, straight through to the final. But then there's an argument for, they've been sat around for a little while. They probably got here quite early, so it's whether they can get up and go.
Alice Davidson-Richards had a fabulous 100 with the Superchargers. Still in the power play, remember. Oh, that's going to run away. Extra pace. Wrong line to start off with Davidson-Richards. Down to the boundary it goes. Maybe, was it after a little bit of pad? Very difficult to see on our replay screen. The sun is beaming in right into the gantry here. No matter whether it be off pad or bat. Did you see, Katie?
I didn't see the umpire signal leg by, so I'm assuming it's off the bat.
And Davidson-Richards, 2 wickets in the competition from her 5 games. Quite expensive as well. Only bowled 7 overs, but cost 63 runs, so going at 9s. Bryony Smith, who's the leading wicket taker, 13 wickets. Economy of 5.3 as well. Hammered away, but going to get caught comfortably at mid-off. Easy as you like. It's the end of Bess Heath. Trying to work it through the leg side, maybe skidded off the surface. Got it high on the bat, no pure connection. First wicket falls. 18 for 1 after 3.2.
I think that was a little bit premeditated, looking back at the replay. They were looking towards Cal perhaps, but a little bit of width, slightly offside. Perhaps she was better trying to carve that through the offside.
Well, Lauren Field-Hill comes to the crease earlier on today, hitting 65 from 49 deliveries, 5 fours and a 6 in that. Great strike rate, 130. She comes in to join Bess Heath. Leah Dobson, 1 from 8 in the eliminator. Not really troubling the scorers in the final as well. Batters crossed while the ball was in the air, so it's Heath on strike.
I think Winfield Hill can be quite a good influence from the other end for Bess Heath. Keep chatting to her, keep talking about good options, what her strengths are, and just have a real partnership going forward.
Straight to the field. Goodness me, she's cracked that away. When you talk about good options, Katie, what do you mean from a batting perspective?
I just think, you look at someone like Bess Heath, she strikes the ball very hard, but I feel like she picks a lot of fielders out from what I've seen, and it's just whether we can, so you nurture and you go to sort of get to that next level. How can you sort of start placing and getting through the gaps? Because I feel like she's got a lot of shots, this girl, as it runs away for another boundary. to finish the over. But I think, you know, if we look, I think Winfield Hill is a perfect example. We saw in the other innings there's a real nice mix of power, but also placements to pierce the field.
Yeah, it's almost tactic. It's easy to be forgiven for thinking that in short form cricket, well, see ball, hit ball, and there is a certain element of that, but it's see ball, hit ball, but where there is no one is the other aspect. These are quick outfields, these are vast acreage that you've got to actually accumulate runs in other ways as well, isn't it, from better than boundaries.
It's just restricting those dot balls as well, because as batters, you know, that's what puts pressure on us. So if you can sort of look for little singles, place it in the gap for 2, it just keeps you building. Arguably, you're probably more relaxed when that 4 ball does come along, because you know that it's not, you know, you don't need to hit it.
Grace Gibbs coming on from the pavilion end. It's very hazy here in Southampton. A lovely looking shot from Winfield Hill. That's a good thing from her perspective. She spent a lot of time at the crease earlier on today, so knows the areas to hit, knows about the nature and the pace of this pitch. By the way, we have an addition to the commentary team for this final. Big appeal, that looks good. It looks very good and is good. Sue Redfern took a long time to think about that, but it kept low, it darted back. Big breakthrough that is for the South East Stars. Lauren Winfield Hill, most dangerous player you'd argue in the Northern Diamonds side, is back on her way. And it's Gracie Gibbs who makes the breakthrough.
That's done a fair bit, that ball. I think that's getting most batters out. Trapped back pad. I don't think it's missing much, that.
Yeah, stuck in the crease a little bit there, Lauren Winfield Hill, and it did dart back off the seam. And so, the Northern Diamonds, a little bit of a pickle. Holly Armitage played nicely in the first game. To the 20 she got, comes out to join Bess Heath. So yeah, I mentioned about our 4th member of the commentary team. It's actually one of the players from the earlier game, Emily Windsor, from the Southern Vipers. Does a lot of radio work with Radio Solent, I think. Also does a bit with the BBC in the international game. Don't know how she feels about commentating now after defeat.
I think she would have rather have come back from a win, but I mean...
Well, she'd be playing, so she couldn't do it.
She would, yes, that is true. But she did all right herself, didn't she?
Well, she got runs. I reckon that helps.
I think that does help.
Now, had to hurry there to come back for the second. Managed to get home safely. Yeah, if you come on, if you come on after defeat and you've not scored runs,
tough day at the office.
I'm sure that's a tough commentary gig. That
we could ask her in a minute, I'm sure.
I think we'll hear by her tone. I think that will give everything away. Sweetly struck, really nice piece of timing. I reckon, well, Alice Davidson-Richards looks as though she saved it. I just wonder, take another look. I look like 4 to me to the naked eye, but I'm not sure if they're allowed to take a look at that and just take the word for it, but there was a lot going on in a very quick space of time.
I think if she has got it, that's an unbelievable bit of fielding to bring it back, but only she will know.
Just lifted the head a touch. End of the 5th over, although by my screen it says there's another couple of balls left. Anyway, Sue knows. Katie George will leave us for the moment. So the Diamonds 2 down. Lauren Winfield Hill already back in the hutch after a 65 in the first game. Big wicket to lose, and now it's up to Heath and Armitage to try and rescue from not too dissimilar position as they were in the first game. Afternoon again to Rosalie Birch, former England Women International.
Hello, Daggers.
Are you melting like I am?
Yeah, sort of slightly moving further and further away from the sun, but
yes.
we're getting to a point where we're not going to be able to get too much further back. But
for anybody who's watching, I can imagine them saying, grab an ice cream and shut up.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
You're watching cricket.
Feet are nice.
In the warmth.
Nice. Yeah, it's a challenging start here for the Diamonds.
Oh, we've got leg spin. Bryony Smith, who's on. I said leg spin, offie. Just trying to squeeze up now again. Create this pressure in the final over of the power play. Just a single, protection out there for that. Fairly standard field for the off spinner. You like this field?
Yeah, happy with this field. 2 out on the leg side. Deep backward square, deep mid wicket. Although they have changed the field, they've brought one up for the new batter.
Yes.
Just got the mid wicket out there now.
Long on as well.
Excuse me, I couldn't
Hiding.
see it. Now
Well,
I'm hiding.
You hiding from the sun. And we have a balcony as well, just in front of us on the gantry, and so long on's just hiding.
Just stand right at the front to see that.
Good bowling, just carrying on with the arm. It's a nice tactic from Capsy. She's bowled straight, and then she's just tempting Bess Heath with a little bit of a wider one.
A few little teasers here, aren't there? And for Diamonds to lose a couple of wickets in the power play just means you just can't make the most of that fielding restrictions.
Oh, confusion, trouble. And had the throw been good, had the wicket keeper been in the right position, then the Diamonds would have been 3 down. As it is, everything is as it was.
Often you end up with two players on the ground like that, both diving towards the stumps. There's a let off for the Diamonds there.
Just be a single. But I think the South East Stars will be more than happy with the power play. 30 for 2, the Northern Diamonds. They've also got Lauren Winfield Hill back in the hutch. So Bess Heath, Holly Armitage trying to rescue things. Some more from you, Rosalie Birch, and then we'll see what kind of mood Emily Winter's in.
Yeah, it's a great start from the South East Stars. They'll be very happy with that. Not only restricting to 5 and over for the power play, which is, you know, that's a really good total to restrict them to. But crucially, the 2 wickets, and particularly the danger player of Lauren Winfield Hill, who played so well earlier. That's a really big wicket for the South East Stars to take there. So I think they've got to be very happy with that power play.
They certainly have, and they're bringing the leg spinner of Gregory straight back into the attack. That's sweetly struck out into the leg side. Just be a single out there. Can you hear from the tone of my voice? There's some mixed emotions, I'd say.
Well, you can give us lots of great insight about batting out there. You had a good innings earlier, although you couldn't quite get your team over the line.
That's the frustrating part, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you do if we're not there in the final, but hopefully I can share something. That's hit down the ground. Fielder does well there at mid-off. She hasn't. It's gone straight past her. Will that go all the way? That's 4 runs. Sweetly struck there by Armitage.
It wasn't the best effort from the mid-off fielder there. She died, but didn't maybe got a tiny finger on it, but wasn't enough to stop it from running over the boundary rope for 4.
The captain, Bryony Smith, there with that effort at mid-off. Half an appeal, but it's just down the leg side. Come through for a leg by Sue Redfern. The umpire, she's such a busy umpire. She's been a feature of the women's game and the men's game this summer. Hit hard down the ground. Mid-off can do nothing about that. I'm sure that's going to race for 4. Yes, it does. Sweetly struck again, that from Bess Heath. 4 more to the total.
Yeah, she's enjoying this bowling from Danny Gregory. I think if you're being harsh, you could wonder if Danny Gregory could have made a better effort at stopping that for her own bowling. My view is if you're a spinner, you've got to work really hard for your own bowling, because you can expect a lot to come back at you. And Gregory's really flighting out there. She's tempting that, you know, them to hit straight, but you've got to work really hard when they do hit straight.
Length ball down the ground. Again there from Heath, but just be a single. She has to bowl full though with this field. Just a long on, a long off, an extra cover and a mid-wicket out. You have to bowl full.
I think if you bowl full, you can kind of control it a bit more.
Fielded well this time off her own bowling. A dot ball to finish the over. 41 for 2.
Yeah, I think if you're bowling full, you've got a little bit more control over it in the field. If you're bowling short, there's so many places that you can be hit. So for me, I'd always be wanting spinners to bowl relatively full, unless you've got somebody who can literally hit it out of the park over long on and long off's head, and then maybe have a rethink.
And I actually think from being out there that actually it was easier as a player to hit straight. It was a harder option for me to hit square of the wicket. So if you're blocking those options off, making it trickier for the Diamonds batsmen. Grace Gibbs, change of end, coming back into the attack, picking up that important wicket of Lauren Winfield Hill. Would the Vipers have loved to have got her for naught in that first game?
Yeah, that would have changed the situation in the game a lot, wouldn't it? She played really, really superbly well.
It's cut away, that's a great shot. That's beat the fielder, and that will race over the boundary for 4. Bess Heaps on a motor here. She moves to 26.
Well, we saw a hint of what she's capable of earlier, and that's really well timed. She's woven it through the gap there, through point.
Sorry,
maybe her batting with Lauren Winfield Hill earlier has really helped her to, you know, gain some confidence for this innings.
Hit hard down the ground, fielded well at mid-off, shy at the stumps, and that's out. She's gone. What a run out, what a bit of fielding it is there. That is exceptional. Bess Heath gone for 22.
And that was so well struck, but I think she felt she deserved a run for that, so she just ran, and it just sat up rather beautifully for her. And
Jones does the fielding.
We had a very similar run out in the game earlier. Dobson did something very similar, hit it straight at mid-off and got run out in a similar way. And as tempting as it is when you strike it really well, sometimes when you strike it really well, that's the worst time to run, because it just sat up so perfectly to be gathered and thrown the stumps down.
South East Stars have been clinical in the field here so far. Stir Callis comes into bat a lot earlier than she did in that first game. You feel Holly Armitage is vital here for the Northern Diamonds.
Yeah, she's got a job to do right now. Lead her team from the front.
Worked nicely onto the onside. There's a call for 2. Will they come back? throw to the keeper's end. Is she in trouble? Holly Armitage didn't want it. Just a single after all that. Good intent, though, from the Northern Diamonds.
That was good intent, and I thought the Northern Diamonds earlier ran really, really well. They looked to push as many runs as they could. Lauren Winfield Hill dropped and ran really well, pushed the twos. I think that was a feature for me of their innings, which I thought was a really positive feature. So obviously working hard at that.
It's a huge playing surface, 65-yard boundaries. Circle, there's lots of gaps. Lead inside edge. They think about a single. They're going to have to hurry here. Ailish Cranstone can't pick it up cleanly. Come through for a comfortable single.
I think when it comes to running, you've got to know your teammates really well, haven't you? You've got to really trust them. You've got to trust your partner's call, and just know each other really well.
Heaved away, that onto the leg side. Just be a single. Armitage striking it sweetly. She must have the confidence, though, from that innings against the Southern Vipers in the eliminator.
I think it's quite a rare thing, isn't it? You get to bat twice in one day, unless you've had a very, very bad day in a test match. You don't often get to bat twice in a day. It's only really on finals days that you might get the opportunity, so you can kind of make right the wrongs that you maybe had from earlier. And the stuff they've learned in the earlier innings, they can put it right and do it better this time.
Didn't feel like she did a lot wrong, though, from my perspective, being on the field. She was striking the ball nicely in that first innings. But that is the beauty, isn't it, of playing in that eliminator match. We see it so often that team does go on and win that final, because they've had a bat on that pitch. They've had a bowl on that pitch. They know what it's like to be out there, and potentially settles the nerves a little bit.
I completely agree. Yes, they'll be a bit tired, but I think, they'll have a lot of adrenaline running around them. For me, I thought Armitage batted well earlier, but I thought she gave a wicket away a little bit, really. They were going so well, her and Lauren Winfield Hill, and she just hit a ball straight down Longoff's throat, and I thought that was a disappointing end for her after what actually was a good innings. I think she didn't need to do that. There were other ways for her to score.
The leg spinner back into the attack. Callis just happily works it for a single. I don't know what you're talking about there. I think that was a well-planned wicket from the Vipers. We planned for her to hit it straight down Longoff's throat.
Here we go.
That's 50 up then for the Northern Diamonds.
It's only my perception of the situation.
They come through for a quick single. Shy, she could be in trouble. They make it comfortably in the end. Potentially shouldn't have been a single there.
I was just going to say, you've got to be a bit disappointed if you're that fielder that's someone's taking a single to you like that. That's not really good enough. She's relatively tight in the ring there as well. She's got to come tighter. You can't be having singles like that. It's too easy.
Turns nicely into the onside again from Callis. They want to. They're not going to get it. Capsy out there does the fielding at long on. What a summer she's had so far.
Incredible, really. She's kind of come out of nowhere, hasn't she? Yeah. It's a name that not many people were talking about before, and now lots of people are talking about. At the age she is, just 17, it's incredible.
Cut away, that's a lovely shot, beating the two fielders at third and point, and that will be 4 runs to Holly Armitage. She's really making a name for herself here at finals day today.
That was an excellent strike. She just sat back, wove it precisely between two fielders there. That's a really, really good shot to a leg spinner, I think.
Down the leg side, they've come through for a quick single. Yes, they will. That is a wide, an extra.
Again, we see lots of urgency with the running. I think that helped the Northern Diamonds to get a few more runs to their total earlier, just being alert to every single opportunity to score a run.
That's sweetly struck. They might get 2 here. The ball races away. The fielder at cover can't stop that. 4 more runs to Callis. Great strike.
That's a lovely shot, isn't it? Off a leg spinner. Lovely cover drive. Absolutely beautiful. That'll give Stair Callis a lot of confidence as well.
Expensive over this for Gregory, with the extras and 2 boundaries from it so far. Great batting this from Callis. Picks up a 4 and then knocks a single up to long on to finish the over.
Yeah, that's mature cricket, that is. Disappointed to not see more of her actually earlier, Stair Callis, so hopefully we can see a bit more of her today, see what she's capable of.
I was disappointed not to see more of her too. We saw far too much of Winfield Hill. And the Stars getting her early today. She's gone for a 0 in the final.
It's time for someone else to shine, maybe.
You can't have player of the match in 2 games in one day, can you?
That would be fair. She's just giving someone else a go.
Moore, the off spinner, back into the attack. Again, they want to, but they're not going to get it fielded well out there from Gibbs. Change of field to Armitage. The fielders on the straight, both out on the rope. She's strung down the ground. Again, a quick single from the Northern Diamonds, rotating the strike nicely, not many dot balls.
It's really good, and this is low risk batting, I think. You know, it's a really good way to keep accumulating, and you know, the 4s will come. They'll knock it down the ground for 1, maybe try and get 2, but that's just a little, just lent on that, just defended it into 3rd man. Easy single.
Driven hard that to mid-off. She almost wrong-footed herself there. There's just a single, just a dot ball, sorry. Moore really impressed me actually in the 100. She played for the Northern Superchargers, and she came into the side and played a really good role for them, and I think she's a name as well that's come from nowhere, if you like, and really shone.
Well, we've been saying a lot, haven't we? It's been a great summer to kind of show what you're capable of and get loads of opportunities to play.
Commentator's curse there, she bowls a wide. But I think that's what's great, isn't it? The opportunities this summer have been massive, and actually Moore didn't make this South East Stars first team at the start of the season. And for her to be here now, having the opportunity to bowl in the final, had it have not been for the 100, had she have not had those opportunities, would she be here today?
I think it changed a lot of things for players, didn't it? Some players really got into form, they got some confidence, they learnt something new, they got some great experience.
Full toss. That'll be fielded by Alice Davidson-Richardson at long on. Not punished, as it should be, but a long boundary out there to the right. 67 for 3, that's 10 overs gone at the halfway stage. Pretty much in the balance, we'd say, as I'm joined next to me by England international and good friend of mine, Katie George. What a privilege it is to be sat here next to you.
Oh, I was going to say the same thing.
What do you reckon a par scores here? What score are Northern Diamonds going to look to be getting here? I'm going to put you under the pump straight away.
I think they'll have to be looking at 130 again. I think that put enough pressure on the fibres early on yourself. But I just think, you know, it seems to be a little bit difficult with the new ball. Both teams had a bit of a slow start, and then it's just this middle phase that's the key.
They come free for a quick single. If she hits, she's in trouble. They make it comfortably in the end. Callis very much looking to rotate that strike. That's what the role she's played so far since coming to the crease.
There's been a few of those, hasn't there? A few close calls.
One run out already this innings to dismiss. Played down the ground, just come through for a single. Alice Davidson-Richards, you're not taking on 2 to hurt.
No, you're not, are you? Unless you're a little bit silly.
I really like this Stars outfit though. I think this is a really nicely matched final. 2 very strong sides in the domestic structure. Again, pushed down the ground by Callis. She's on 13 off 13 deliveries, doing her job here in the middle overs.
Doing it very well as well. Hitting the ball strong down the ground.
That's darted in there, appealing. It's going down leg. Good change of pace though from Bryony Smith.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, the 100 was a really good learning experience for her. She hasn't bowled probably as much as she ever has this summer previously. Had to learn on her feet, I think, opening the bowling for the Welsh Fire.
That's hit through the covers by Armitage, will just be a single. Showing the intent for 2 again though, so putting those Stars fielders under pressure.
Quite looking forward to seeing her bat as well, Bryony Smith. We all know what she can do, how destructive she is, but it's nice to see that she's sort of taken more of that all-rounder role.
Play and miss outside the off stump. Very tidy work there by the keeper behind the stumps. 71 for 3, 11 overs gone. And how was the 100 experience for you? Obviously frustrating that you're not able to bowl at the moment, but going to a different region at the Welsh Fire. Obviously you're playing down at Western Storm, but how was the experience?
Oh, it was incredible. I think it exceeded everyone's expectations and certainly mine. You know, just the standard, that was awesome. And just the opportunities, people coming in and sort of performing, it's just awesome to see. And then, you know, the Welsh Fire, like we had quite a sort of interesting squad, lots of experience, but a little bit of inexperience as well. So it was nice to see how we grew throughout the tournament.
That's pulled away by Armitage. She wants 2 there. I think she'll get 2 quite comfortably. That's great bit of work out there on the rope by Grace Gibbs. Alice Davidson-Richards back into the attack, who bowled a lot of slower balls in the 100.
She did, probably 80% of her balls, but it was effective.
Certainly was, and I think in this situation we'll be seeing similar today. Right on cue, there is one, but played nicely by Armitage. She wants 2 again, won't get it.
I think she bowls them into the pitch, doesn't she? So it gives it opportunity for the ball to maybe grip a little bit, get a little bit stuck. But she's been really useful, and it's nice to see that she's sort of added that string to her bow and been a really sort of good bowler for the Superchargers and for the Stars.
Again, another slower ball. Worked nicely. She's going to have to do the fielding off her own bowling. She does that well, charging there to mid-wicket. She must be blowing out there. I certainly was earlier.
Oh, it's one of those, you don't want to go and get it, but you know you have to.
That's speaking from a fellow quick bowler.
Not very often nowadays.
What is the latest on the back then? When are we seeing you back on the park with a ball in hand?
Probably next summer.
Pulled away sweetly into the leg side. Will just be a single. It's very hard to split those fielders out there with these long boundaries.
But yeah, managed to get through the summer as a batter, probably more of a fielder. But unfortunately the back's still a little bit swollen, so shutting down for sort of 4 to 6 weeks now, and then slowly build up everything again and look to hit the ground running next season.
Again, another slow ball by Davidson-Richard, but the same result as single. Very effective this on this pitch. Northern Diamonds will be bowling a lot of slow bowling as well. Jenny Gunn McDonald bowled nicely in that first game, bowled a lot of cutters, a lot of pace off, and it was tricky to get away.
I think the Stars have taken that into account with their bowling display so far.
She's timed that nicely. That's hit the fielder straight in the stomach. Keeper does well to get a finger to it. That looks like it's hurt.
Bryony Smith down there.
I think that is a finger. And she's walking towards the physio. That looks quite painful. She looks in a lot of discomfort, and that's a worry. The Stars captain down on the floor, head in lap, but the physio's on the field. What magic can he work here?
She's a real warrior as well. For her to stay down, you know that there's something up.
She's not even letting the physio look at it yet. She's in that much pain, but finally she's back up and letting him have a look. She looks in a lot of pain there, Bryony Smith, but that was hit hard by Armitage. She's going nicely, 25 off 19. Callis supporting role, just rotating the strike. This is a good partnership here for Northern Diamonds.
Exactly what they needed, wasn't it, after that slightly slow start?
She looks like she's all right here. She's up and sort of shaking it off, then giving the wave to her teammates of who's bowling the next over. It's good to see Bryony Smith back on her feet, and the adrenaline takes over, doesn't it, in this situation?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, if she gets another one on that hand, then adrenaline might not be enough. She might look to maybe hide herself, get herself out of the hot areas.
No, don't be silly. She's going to put herself
Straight
straight
back
in the
into
same,
extra.
same position. As you said, though, she's a real tough character. More back into the attack. They're appealing there, racked her on the pads, but definitely going down the leg side. Just 7 runs off her 2 overs so far. Been really impressive for the Stars and having a really impressive season. Turned nicely into the leg side.
I think it's her change of pace for me. She seems really clever in what she does. She knows what her plans are, almost sort of a step ahead of the batter almost.
It's chipped up and over the bowler, and it's just be a single for Callis. Again, rotating the strike.
Like watching you play golf, that.
Let's not bring my golf into things now, Katie. Come on now. Quicker delivery. There's up in the air. There's fielders chasing after it. They come back for a couple. That's perhaps not the right option with this field, though, with a square and fine leg in the ring.
Brave.
But I suppose the batter's not expecting it. But she's got away with that one. Armitage, the set batter as well.
Should be a little bit cross with herself, missing out there.
28 off 22. The key to this Northern Diamonds innings. That was a hell of an effort by Moore off her own bowling to get to that ball there. That's the intent Rosalie was on about earlier. As a spinner, you've got to want to field the ball off your bowling.
Thrown herself there, hasn't she? I probably would have put my back out again.
Yeah, don't you be doing that, Katie. That's pulled nicely. Will that race down to the boundary? Gregory after it. She does well. They come back for a couple. 85 for 3 then. 13 overs gone. What do you reckon, 130? I reckon they've got to look for more here.
I think, you know, that's a minimum now. They've got a really good platform to build from. Looking to take sort of up the accelerator a little bit and look to get to that 140, 145.
Runs on the board in the final are so important. saw in the 100 final, the women's 100, the Brave unable to chase down the total. Finger must be okay though. Bryony Smith's coming on to bowl from the hotel end here at the Ageas Bowl. What a day. It's like we're back at summer.
I was a little bit worried we were going to have to get the winter coats out, but it's a belter.
We need the sun cream today, not the winter coats.
Get a little bit red, eh?
You know me, I'm not the most tanned. She's going to want two here. That's nicely timed. That's hit the ring. The great running from Armitage. Great batting as well. And she's starting to suck in the air. Hot work out there.
You looked a little bit hot at one stage during your innings.
I think most of my innings, to be honest, I couldn't breathe. I think I need to do some more sprints. Smith again, great delivery that. Just gone on with the arm. And Armitage can't get anything on that.
Brave delivery of the offside up.
Inside edge onto pad. They're going to come through for a quick single. Great delivery. It's just too full to be playing that on the back foot, isn't it?
I think it's a high-risk shot, and probably, you know, they've got three fielders out on that leg side, so it's probably only going to be a single, two max.
Full toss. Has she taken a catch off her own bowling? Yes, she has. Ball thrown in the air, and Callis is gone for 18. That's the breakthrough the Stars needed.
She could have hit that anywhere she wanted.
Full tosses so often get wickets, don't they? And that's the case there. Callis played nicely though. She created a great partnership with Armitage, but 4 wickets now for the Stars, but a very timely breakthrough. The experienced Jenny Gunn coming to the crease. She had a fantastic final over in the eliminator, hitting 2 sixes from it. It was painful to watch it at the cover boundary. And really game-changing. It shifted the momentum in their favour at that halfway stage.
Absolutely, and momentum's so important in cricket, isn't it? Gave them a little boost to go straight back out and start well. But I think, you know, just her options were very good. Took down their bowlers.
I think this is the beauty of this Diamond side, isn't it? They've got a real mix of youngsters, but they've got the experienced players in there as well. And obviously Winfield Hill, yes, she didn't get any runs, but when she's out on the field in this second innings, she's going to be key. The calm head, an England international and an ex-England international with Gunn.
I think even with their sort of regional players, you know, the players that played in the 100, they're all vastly experienced and they bring so much to the table. And then you've got those sort of younger players, less inexperienced, coming in and performing. And I think, you know, a lot of that's down to being able to sort of chew off a couple of ears and get that advice.
Gives you the freedom as well, doesn't it? Knowing you've got Jenny Gunn at the other end, who's played so much cricket. That's driven only to Gibbs at extra cover, a dot ball to finish the over. And a few more thoughts from you, Katie, and there'll be a change in commentary box. Charles Dagnall will join you.
The story so far. Tidy figures in there. Kalia Moore, 3 overs, just costing 12. Bryony Smith also miserly as well. 11 off her 3, including the wicket. And so, 89 for 4. 6 remain. Again, very much similarity with the innings earlier on. Jenny Gunn will just take a little bit of time. She's got that considering those lusty blows that we saw towards the back end of the eliminator innings. Might as well just get herself in. Armitage playing a good hand here too. Short 4. Awkward as well at square leg. Those wicket ends make it a little bit bobbly. It was hit with power. That's a loose delivery from Moore. A gift.
Especially with your square leg up, the last thing you want to do is drop short. Hopefully she can correct this and try and get a couple of dots in.
The sun gets ever lower. It's fully crept into the gantry area now. I've got to give some props to Rosalie Birch. She said, take your shoes off if you're hot. I was a bit wary about doing so. Oh, she's nailed it. Not that I'm massively cooler wearing all black with the sun blaring into the gantry.
I thought I could smell something.
Thanks very much. And neatly played. This is looking good for the Diamonds here.
You just sense they're building, don't you?
Yeah, the odd boundary listed in amongst the rotation of strike, pushing 1s and 2s. Oh, missed out there, did Armitage. Dancing down the pitch, it almost surprised her. Misfield, pressure on again, just a little bit shabby from the Stars. 5 overs remain then, 97 for 4. Armitage 38, Jenny Gunn still in single figures. Katie George leaves us for the moment, much more to come from her, and Emily Windsor in the second innings of this game. But if you couldn't have asked for more perfect conditions for a finals day, been blessed with good weather here on the south coast, hardly a breath of wind. Glorious conditions. I'm sure 1 or 2 might go home a little bit more pink than where they came. Rosalie, back alongside me. Thank you for your very good advice.
You're welcome. I always find feet make a big difference to body temperature.
Extremities,
Exactly,
isn't it?
along with your head.
Not much I can do about my head, I'm afraid. This is good from the Diamonds. Thinking last time we were talking 130, 140. Could that be improved in this position, 140, 150?
Looks like it probably depends on these two. We know Jenny Gunn is capable of hitting big. She hit some good 6s towards the end of the eliminator earlier today. But crucially, she's got a good head on her shoulders. Armitage looks really well set. That was a good partnership between her and Stair Callis, partnership of 43. Set them up really, really well, the Diamonds, for Jenny Gunn to come in and do what she does.
That was a fairly ugly delivery from Alice Capsey. I think she thought that Armitage was advancing. Played her hand too much, and it brings up the 100, out wide.
Always the worst as a bowler when you're wide, it results in a clap around the ground because it means a milestone for the team.
Has that happened to you before?
Oh, I'm sure it has. I can't remember. To be fair, actually, I didn't bowl many wides. That wasn't my downfall, really. But I'm sure it's happened before.
Happened to me. Remember bowling a wide and that was the end of the match.
Oh, that's
not a good feeling.
That is the absolute worst.
It was a tough ask, I have to say. I think I had to defend 2 off the final over, and obviously picked up a single, and then I slid one down the leg side, and that was that.
That's what happened last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Wide and they
Tash
ran.
Farrant, wasn't
I
it?
think it was a wide and they ran, and it was just it's a bit of an anti-climax, isn't it, finishing the game like that? The opposite, with a 6 to finish the game or something.
Yeah, they were guilty of bowling 19 wides yesterday, the England women.
Yeah, it was too many, wasn't it?
Just tickled away for another single. Accumulating very nicely here. Another
They are with very
capsy.
little risk, isn't there?
Yeah, another capsy over goes by. 104 for 4, I think. Capsy is now bowled out. 0 for 20. Difficult to see our screen in front of us due to the glare of the sun. Not that you'll be sympathetic, nor should you be. Yes,
I
Kalia.
think she might have one left, actually.
She's got one left, you're right. It's Kalia Moore who's finished her allocation of 4 overs for 20 runs.
Yeah,
So
it's a good effort from her.
just looking at the bowling available, Alex Davidson-Richards, 4 overs remain. She's got 2. Gracie Gibbs has got 2. Bryony Smith 1. Danny Gregory has 2. So lots of options.
Yeah, Danny Gregory was quite expensive, so I don't know whether she'll feature for the remainder of these 4 overs left.
Davidson-Richards back on from the pavilion end. It's a slower delivery, dragged into the leg side. And I think that's going to be at the back of their minds, this 140, 150. They defended 136 earlier today.
That's the beauty of playing twice on the same pitch in one day, isn't it?
It sounded better than the pace of the ball across the turf.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. Well-placed fielder there, out in the deep, Ageas Cranstone at deep square leg.
That's good cricket, really good cricket, and being alert to the opportunity. Holly Armitage was running to the danger end. As soon as bat lay on ball, they were off. Excellent cricket for the Diamonds.
Feels to me like Jenny Gunn's got quite a clear plan, and that's kind of what you'd expect of someone of her experience. She's got a few options in her mind as to what she wants to do, and she's doing it really well.
Yes.
She's quite timed, has she?
No. I think Davidson-Richards is bowling predominantly slower deliveries, just holding in the turf, so you've got to try and inject the pace yourself with fast hands, power behind it. There's just sort of dying off the bat a little bit. Again, it just stopped. Still nicely adjusted though by Gunn. You know a bit of Ailish Cranston?
I do.
Tell us about Ailish.
She's a great character, fun person to have around. She works really hard. She's fit. She's quick. And there she is in action there, stopping the 2, sprinting in from deep square leg.
Under the over, 17 gone, 110 for 4.
Yeah, she's a good person to have in your team. Ailish is. She accumulates really well with the bat. It's great to have a left-hander as well, left-handed bat. And yeah, she's really valuable in the field. She covers a lot of ground very quickly.
We were talking with Katie George earlier on about the complete lack of left-handers that there are. The last one in the England team was Lydia Greenway. So you're going back some time.
Yeah. But in contrast, there's quite a few left-arm seamers around at the moment. But quite often it's not the way that you bowl left-handed, you bat left-handed, isn't it? It's a quirk. It's not a guarantee.
Bryony Smith, her last over. Goodness me, that's been thumped down the ground. Really good sound off the bat and sloppy. Sloppy work down on the boundary edge. Should have been stopped. It was comfortably within the grasp But moments like that, misfields like that, just take the energy out of the team, and 4 more onto the Armitage total.
Yeah, that was a shame there. Emma Jones running around, she put in a slide, but the ball just bounced off her leg over the boundary. It's unfortunate. She's been moved now, replaced.
That's not a good feeling either.
No, replaced by Grace Gibbs.
Big appeal, but there's no chance really. Coming round the wicket. It's got to straighten somewhat for the umpire to get interested.
They're bowling round the wicket as well. You wonder if it's pitched in line in the first place.
Almost bowling little seamers here, Bryony Smith. Trying to angle across the right-hander.
So there's a lot of potential to get some twos here, hitting it into the mid-wicket area, because there's no one in the ring. Got to work really hard to stop that being 2.
Grace Gibbs has been moved to that long-off position now. Brings Armitage back on strike. 1 shy of her half-century.
What a great innings it's been so far. Sure hope she can kick on right to the end.
Nicely done. Very nicely done, and a very well played innings from Holly Armitage. 41 balls, 4 boundaries, and much as Lauren Winfield Hill was the mainstay for the Northern Diamonds in the eliminator game, she is proving to be a similar type of rock for the Diamonds in the final. Chase on here, this could be 4, and is. Placement absolutely key. Sounded good off the bat. And just after reaching your half-century, to follow it up with a boundary to finish off the over. Excellent from the Northern Diamonds. 2 overs remain, 121 for 4.
And that was hit so straight that the long on had no chance. The long on was really wide there. They looked like they were really trying to protect the mid-wicket, slightly more leg side boundary. They had so much ground to make up. It was too difficult to get to cut off that 4. It was a really good strike by Holly Armitage.
So, now with Armitage 50 not out, Gunn 14 not out. Desperate to remove at least one of these, or else he could be looking at 150. Northern Diamonds, and I always just feel that sometimes in knockout games or finals, sometimes it is best to have it on the board. 3 on the leg side boundary, long off, deep mid-wicket, deep square. Just can't quite squeeze it past the infield. And Davison Richards, with this field, she's going to be very, very careful with the lines that she bowls.
That's true. She's got a lot of protection out on the leg side, and then she's just got a cover sweeper. She can't get hit through mid-off for 4.
It's a pretty decent option for her. The last thing you want to do is go full. Fine leg is up inside. The circle has his 3rd. Mid-off is up as well, so I think we'll see plenty into the turf here. Coming for the 2nd, got to be quick. Gunn is maybe advancing in years, but still got a burst when she wants.
Those long legs have got a lot of speed in them. They looked like they were hesitating about whether to go for 2 there, but they committed and they got in. And that's what they've got to do. They've got to push those 2s to the boundary riders. If they're not going to get 4s, they've got to get 2s.
It just underlines your point. A vast amount of acreage to play with at the Ageas Bowl. And I think as a batting side, you got to know where 2s are.
I think there's a big change in the game recently, actually. Yeah, for me, a big change in the game is actually, learning to weight the ball perfectly to try to get those 2s. it's not all about boundaries. Obviously, boundaries are good, but actually, if you can get 6 2s and over, that's ideal. That's better than, almost better than boundaries.
And down the track comes Armitage, and just be a single. Cranston out in the deep, called into action again. So very productive 19th over, 128 for 4. The Northern Diamonds with 1 over remaining. It's almost like a tennis drop shot. Sometimes I watch batters out there and they sort of just nudge it to that perfectly to the 30-yard circle, almost hitting it but then taking the bat away.
Yeah, it's such a skill, isn't it? And it's almost against your instincts of trying to hit the ball as hard as possible. You've got to know the right ball to do it to, and that's a real challenge of batting. But I think Northern Diamonds here, I feel it might be a bit disappointed with that last over because they didn't get any big runs, they didn't get any boundaries, and they're going to need, I feel that they need a couple of boundaries just to take them right over to a good score here.
Oh, this is
140.
brave. This is brave. Alice Capsey bowling the final over. Pressure on Davidson Richards at long on, but just a single taken.
She's got to be so tight with her line here because there's no one out on the cover boundary. There's no one out on the boundary on the offside. Oh, sorry, there's a long on, but no one else other than that.
Beautiful looking shot. It's in the air and she's bisected the two perfectly. This is why I'm saying it's brave, and you're absolutely right, Rosalie, is that you've got to be pinpoint accurate. If you're not, Jenny Gunn's going to pump you into the leg side, pick up her boundaries, and she moves into the 20s. It's a dangerous game to play, off spin at the death. You want your best fielders out in those positions. Davidson Richards is just that.
That's the thing, all these small margins make such a big difference. You've got to have the right people fielding in the right positions, knowing exactly where they've got to be, what they're doing, what they're stopping, what they're not stopping.
Oh, you can see what she was trying to do, make room outside of the leg stump to try and pump it through the offside where it's vacant, the boundary edge. Just a single though. 2 balls remain.
Can we see a Jenny Gunn 6 like we saw in the game earlier?
Not this time. Just a single, but surpassing the total that they achieved in the first, only by a small amount. Still think it's a decent total. 136 for 4.
Agree.
Last ball then. It's not quite timed, but it'll be good enough just to get a couple of runs to close things out. So, end of the 20 overs, 138 for 4. Holly Armitage finishing 59 not out of 48 deliveries. Jenny Gunn 22 from 60.
And a 50 partnership. With no partnerships makes such a big difference. That was 50 partnership for Armitage and Gunn. And actually Capsey did pretty well in that last over. She kept her line strong, she kept her line nice and tight to the stump, so actually despite her not having any boundary riders on the offside, they were not able to get it. Armitage was trying, she was desperately trying to get it through extra cover or cover, but she just wasn't able to get it away. So actually that was a good finish from Capsey.
Who's going to be the happier of the two at the halfway stage, Rosalie?
Got to be the Diamonds, I think.
Yeah.
I think you said earlier, on a big final like this, you want to have runs on the board. They know that they can defend a score like this because they defended 135 earlier. I think they'll be pretty happy with that.
Well, thank you, Rosalie, for the moment. We shall hear much more from you in the second innings, which is coming up in around about 10 minutes time. So the story of the first innings, 22 for Bess Heath, offers many balls. Duck for Lauren Winfield Hill after a fabulous 60 in the first game of the day. all surrounded by Holly Armitage, 59 from 48 deliveries. Steer Callis contributing with 18 from 19. Jenny Gunn, again, valuable runs at the back end, 22 from 16 deliveries, 138 for 4. As for the bowling, the South East Stars, wicket apiece for Davidson, Richards, Gibbs and Bryony Smith. Expensive from Danny Gregory in her leg spin. Caps here, I always thought it was a dangerous game, bowling her in the final over. Kalia Moore, the tidiest figures there, along with Bryony Smith. Not for 20 for Moore, 1 for 22 for Smith. So 139 is the target for the South East Stars, and we shall be back with you in around about 10 minutes' time. Welcome back to the South East Stars response in this final of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Charles Dagnall, Rosalie Birch alongside you. And an impressive effort from the Northern Diamonds in the first over. Lindsay Smith's going to start things off for the Diamonds. Out there in the middle, Bryony Smith, Ailish Cranston. Smith on strike. 4 in the offside ring. Smith, who bowled very, very well in the eliminator game. And they're off the mark.
We've got a left-hand, right-hand combination here, just to make it a bit more tricky for the bowlers first up.
Finally.
Finally.
A left-hander. Slight change, so 138 for 4, the Northern Diamonds. She's come over the wicket to the left-handed Cranston. How are the South East Stars going to go about this then, Rosalie?
Well, knowing Ailish, I think she's an accumulator. She'll run well. She'll look to drop that last delivery into the leg side for a little single. Her and Bryony Smith are looking busy. They're looking ready to run. Bryony Smith is generally more of an aggressor. Ailish Cranston in 2 minds there. She's looking to sweep and it got very, very full, and luckily for her she managed to adjust and squirted off, and she managed to get 2 for that. She's off the mark.
Well, it's highlighting something that you were talking about in the first innings. That's nicely bowled. Nicely bowled. Just one that goes on with the arm, so tidy first over from Lindsay Smith. Just 3 runs coming from it. But the South East Stars, what we found the Southern Vipers in the eliminator game didn't do was picking up 1s, 2s, keeping it ticking over.
Yeah, I think when you're chasing as well, the pressure can get to you. Once the rate starts getting a little bit higher than you'd like it, the pressure can really get to you. So actually running well from the start of your innings can really set you up, so you're ideally not in that position where you're starting to feel the pressure early on. Eases some nerves as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you keep ticking over, changing the strike, particularly with these 2 left-hand, right-hand combination, it's even more crucial because it makes it more difficult for the bowlers.
In the power play, Slater. Now, Bryony Smith's hitting arc. They've gone with deep backward square, deep mid-wicket. I just wonder if I might have gone long on deep mid-wicket. Does like to club it through the onside. Open stance to the left armour.
Perhaps depends on the length that she's going to bowl as well.
Bryony Smith's one of those players that can actually take a game away from you. She's in for 20, 30 balls. That's about where I was thinking they might want to field it. Gonna pick up 2. Nicely run by Cranston at the non-striker's end. Just fancy that long on and deep mid-wicket is going to be a little bit more productive.
I think as a batter it's lower risk hitting straighter, whether it's aerial or along the ground, it's lower risk. She didn't quite get hold of that, so they were able to cut it off and keep it to 2.
Oh, now she's gone to deep backward square. Shut up, Daggers.
That's what that field is there for, at deep backward square.
You
don't
right,
really want her bowling that though, do you?
No.
You don't really want her bowl, but it's a bit short, really.
The thing is what we've seen is neither one thing nor the other. Are you going to bowl full, or are you going to bowl short? If you're going to bowl short, keep your deep backward square in. If you're going to bowl that touch fuller, send long on back and bring up square inside the circle. It's obviously never easy in the power play when you've got 2 fielders outside that circle. Signal wide. Umpire Redfern, who's got a big thick coat on. Crikey.
Is she on a different planet to the rest of us today?
She has a different climate, perhaps. Unless it's fantastically freezing where she is. Again, poor delivery down the leg side. Don't want to give freebies away.
This is where it's challenging, isn't it, for a young bowler, left-hand, right-hand combination in a big game, opening the bowling when it's swinging, and you've only got 2 fielders out on the boundary. That's a lot for a young bowler to contend with, isn't it? She's got to clear that head fresh for this next ball.
Might have enough to go all the way, and it does. That's the problems you're talking about, Rosalie. Just dragging it fractionally short, allowing Cranston to pull it round. She's only diminutive, so any variation in length, if you're slightly off, she's going to pick it up and pull you for 4.
Yeah, I'd say that the pull is one of Ailish Cranstone's big strengths.
That's better. That's your length if you're Slater.
She's going to have to adjust again, right-hander on strike.
Beautiful shot. And that's the full length that's going to get hit over wide long on, and it's sort of exacerbating what we were just mentioning earlier on in the over. What length are you going to bowl? If you're going to bowl that length, send out your long on. That's not the best over for the Northern Diamonds, and Slater will be a little frustrated as she goes back to her fielding position. 2 overs gone, 17 without loss.
Yeah, that was a good over for South East Stars. I wonder if we might have a change of bowling now.
One thing that has been pleasing, obviously it's the first Charlotte Edwards Cup final. What I've enjoyed is that the Eliminator, obviously the Eliminator and the final being played on the same day, but both day games. So there's no discernible change. It can just change a little bit when it goes from daylight to under the lights.
Yeah, that's a good point. Really good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's for the Northern Diamonds. They're getting 2 chances to play on pretty much the same wicket in the same conditions. You know, the weather's not really changed, the temperature's not really changed, so they've got a definite advantage here.
Here's Gunn into the attack. Nicely played by Cranston. Just a single, but it can just get a little bit, especially this time of year, a bit of dew, which can speed up the surface, make it more difficult for fielders and easier for batters.
And obviously the light changes, doesn't it, later on in the day. So yeah, this is a proper warm-up that the Northern Diamonds had earlier.
Hammered away. Beautiful shot by Smith. Committed to it. It was in a hitting arc again. I just think they're getting this wrong, Rosalie. The Northern Diamonds against Bryony Smith.
Yeah, that was a very confident stroke. She held her pose. She enjoyed that one there. And yeah, I think they've got to adjust the field. If they're going to bowl full, they've got to have a long on. It's like you're covering for a bad ball if you've got a deep square, and I don't think you should be doing that. You should be should be setting your field for your best bowling.
Sloppy again in the ring. The other aspect is I just wonder if Bryony Smith can hold herself back as well. If you bowl in her hitting arc, she's gonna go aerial. And I think it's a legitimate wicket-taking position down at long on.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Yeah, not everyone's going to be able to clear somebody on the boundary rope every time. So that's a really good point, Daggers, yeah.
Oh, it's very sweet. Sweetly played by Cranston, just using what pace she had. The angle of the bat was perfect to allow it to slide off, run down towards third for 4.
This is what Cranston does really well. I said earlier she's good at dropping and running, she's good on the pull, but she's also really good at using the pace of the bowling she's got available to her and nudging and nurdling her way to a good score. Just quietly going about it, really. She's not a blaster as a natural game.
Really have to be quick. Lindsay Smith, it is at mid-wicket. But there's an argument to say that you don't have to be a blaster in the power play. So many people think that you do, but it's actually about picking your gaps and playing it through the field. Outfields are like lightning now. As soon as you get it through the in-ring, that's it. It's away for 4.
Yeah, exactly. I think you can't have 2 openers who are both nurdlers, but actually if you've got one who's a bit of a hitter and another one who can nudge it around, absolutely that's a good combination. I think the key though is just knowing your own game and knowing what your role is.
Hit over the top, over mid-off this time. Long on had been put back, but there was too much width from Jenny Gunn. Just about the 5th stump line, and that's all it needs for Bryony Smith to get her hands through the ball. Fabulous start for the South East Stars. 3 overs gone, 32 without loss.
Yeah, we've seen some impressive hitting from Bryony Smith here. She gets in such a good position, and she just is so strong and stable in her stance when she hits the ball. If you're watching cricket, that's what you want to be doing, isn't it, when you're batting? Strong, stable base that gives you the best chance to transfer as much power into the ball as possible. So as predicted, we've got a bowling change here. Katie Levick's coming into the attack, the leg spinner.
What's interesting to me as well is that we didn't see Katie Levick until the 10th over in the last game, which showed you how confident the Northern Diamonds were. Now, given the start that the South East Stars have made, we're seeing her in the 4th.
Also shows how much confidence they have in her, I think. You know, it's not easy being a leg spinner bowling in the power play.
Just be a single. Down towards deep backward square. Smith fielding in the deep. I always go back to the Adil Rashid thing for England and Owen Morgan when he used him. When, you know, if England are in trouble, Morgan brings him on in the 11th. If they're not, you might wait till the 22nd, 23rd over to bowl him. It's a good indicator of how captains are feeling. Swept hard, straight to the fielder though. Puff of dust. Looks like a nasty area to field there. Steer callous. All that bobbly ground. Not much fun. Don't mind fielding in there in the early part of the season when all the wickets haven't been used.
It's a bit soggy and soft.
Don't mind that at all. It's well fielded. Come August, September time, and the sun's blazing down, and all the square is parched and bobbly, and
it's like a car park.
It's the whole you're expected to dive, but you just don't want to. You can see the TCBP being applied a little bit later to your grazes.
Exactly, you've probably already got a few bumps and bruises and scrapes that you don't want to be knocking off.
Bryony Smith just can't find a route through.
That was a good over from Levick, actually. I think Bryony Smith was getting a bit frustrated there, and I think she's a better cricketer than letting that get to her. But you know, she's tried really hard to get that ball through the offside there, and it's just not quite happened for her. So well bowled, Katie Levick. Yeah,
just 2 runs coming from it. 34 without loss after 4. Just what was needed for the Northern Diamonds. Just a bit of calming. I don't think they'll be totally calm until they see the back of one of these two. Still 2 overs of the power play to come. Lindsay Smith being asked to bowl another in the power play. Excellent start from the South East Stars. They managed to get through directly to the final after topping their group. It's 5 wins out of 6. Cranston content just to manoeuvre the ball into the leg side. Field changing for the right-handed Smith. Now, once again, long on now in place. Deep mid-wicket and round the wicket will go Smith. There's no half measures with Bryony Smith.
I was just going to say, she's looking to be aggressive every single ball, isn't she? She is. These two look really comfortable together, Ailish Cranstone and Bryony Smith.
What a shot. That is a great shot. If only she could have found it out flush. Oh, I think that's horrible. That's an awful piece of fielding. What's gone on there? That should in no way have been 4. But the chase on, just trying to see who it is.
Levick.
Katie Levick.
Not her proudest moment there. She slid and she just completely missed the ball with her hand. One to forget there.
Well, I think if she'd have actually caught up with it and just stopped it, allowed her momentum to go over the boundary and then come back in, but real hames made of it there. Cranston, big shot, big 6. Well, she may be a nudger and a nurdler, but the left arm spin, and that's the advantage of the right-hand, left-hand combination. Ball spinning into the left-hander, lovely slog sweep. It's a fabulous start for the South East Stars.
That's a great shot from Cranstone. She's not the biggest of cricketers, but she's got a lot of power.
It's a very good power play.
And that's what you need when you're chasing a decent total. You've got to have a good start. You've got to have a good power play to give yourself a chance to be in the game later on.
Now, is that an opportunity? Is that a chance?
I think that might have been a drop.
Yeah.
I think it came off her. She went to sweep, came off her pad, I think.
Was it pad and a bit of bat? I think it might have been Katie Levick again.
She's a ball magnet.
The guilty party. Well, when things don't go right, it follows you a little bit. 5 overs gone. 46 without loss are the South East Stars in this, the final of the Charlotte Edwards Cup between the South East Stars and the Northern Diamonds. I'm sure it had a little, yeah, the highest power plays of the season. Southern Vipers 67 for none off 6 overs against the South East Stars was the highest power play. Went not far off getting into the top 7. Levick again. Just a single taken as Rosalie Birch leaves us and Casey George returns. Well, you know all about Bryony Smith, teammate at the Welsh Fire.
Absolutely, yeah, she was class in the 100, both with bat and ball. probably surprised everyone with how effective she was with the ball, maybe even herself, but really good to see. And it's nice to see her today also with Ailish Cranstone also contributing.
And big appeal, but no interest from Sue Redfern. I think Bryony Smith, due to the fact that Welsh Fire, obviously missing you with the ball, some of the overseas players that came in, obviously Hayley Matthews did really, really well. The good doctor, Georgia Redmayne. Hammered away by Ailish Cranston just beyond mid-on. It's going to plug. Still going out with this attacking intent, but I just get the feeling that Bryony Smith would have probably felt herself that she could have offered a little bit more with the bat in the 100. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I think she expects a lot of herself and wants to contribute every time she's out there, but I think from what we did see, she showed plenty of promise, and there was a couple of big games that she did get going, and then I know that on the bench we were willing her to sort of just take it that step further, and unfortunately she didn't. But I think, she's not far away from that. She's got a good game plan, she knows what she's doing, and I think it'll be only time before she extends those innings.
Comfortably swept. It's an area of strength for Ailish Cranston, and it brings up the 50. And this, the 6th over of the game, 50 without loss, very comfortable so far. Not quite their best power play, their 3rd best so far. But in the context of a final, so valuable. The Diamonds, wonder if they're feeling a little leggy after an energy-sapping victory against the Southern Vipers earlier today.
I'm a little bit intrigued because in their first game they went seam heavy up front and they bowled a lot of seam. However, in this game they've gone spin heavy, and I'm just wondering if those matchups have quite worked out for them.
In fact, also I just wonder with the pace that they're going and the fact that they haven't taken a wicket, that might be why they've called on Levick and another over from Lindsay Smith. Some more from you at 50 for 6, 50 for naught, off 6.
Do you know what? We haven't even seen Alice capture yet, and they're 50 for naught off 6.
It's a scary thought, that, isn't it?
The left-hand, right-hand partnership of Bryony Smith and Ailish Cranstone. It's really put Stars in a good position here after the power play. McDonald comes into the attack, who bowled very nicely in the eliminator against the Southern Vipers with her change of pace. She needs to find a breakthrough, and a breakthrough quick hit for the Northern Diamonds. Play a miss outside the off stump. Good start from her. Do the Diamonds have enough, Katie?
At this rate, no. If they keep going on like this, they'll be chasing it well inside the 20 overs.
Wider delivery. Can only find backward point, fielded well there by Callis. Dot balls are important here, aren't they, though, to build pressure on these batsmen. They don't want it to be too easy and then just knock off the singles, because they're going to chase it down comfortably if they allow this.
Yeah, absolutely. The dot balls build pressure, and it's trying to get that balance between sort of having an in and out field. Can they perhaps take a fine leg into a mid wicket if she's taking pace off the ball? It's probably a harder shot to try and get a boundary through fine leg off slower bowling, and then you can get that sort of dot ball in the mid wicket region.
They certainly don't want to be giving the Stars too many runs in the form of extras. Swept hard by Cranston. That is a fantastic shot. 2 bounces over the rope for 4. She's hitting the ball nicely. She moves on to 32 off 23. What a role she's playing for the Stars.
Enjoys a sweep, doesn't she?
I think she's just she's allowing Bryony Smith, who we know is a sweet timer and the ball hits the ball hard, to just play her shots at the other end. This is a fantastic partnership. Slower ball again. This has gone in the air. Will it land safely? No mid-wicket in place. That mid-wicket you were talking about, Katie. And they come through for a single.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? You know, it could have squirted through a fine leg region that had been vacated, but I just think at this stage of the game, they need a wicket. They could do with a few dots. Can we get that mid-wicket in?
Change of field to the right-hander, but still no mid-wicket in place, so an easy single on that leg side. Pulled away nicely into that gap of the mid-wicket for a single from Bryony Smith. One ball remains from the 7th over, 57 for none. The South East Stars. Can they be lifting this Charlotte Edwards Trophy later? Swept hard again from Cranstone. Just a single though. Jenny Gunn out there does the fielding. How important as well do you think, Katie? Obviously, Stars have been opening up with a left-hand, right-hand partnership, and as a fielding unit, as a bowler, you constantly got to adjust your lines and fields. How important is that?
I think that's very important, and I think we've seen that today. You know, there's been a couple of extras, slight sort of earring on the leg side for each, a little bit of width on offer through the offside. And I think they've struggled a little bit, the Diamonds, with this left-hand, right-hand combination, but I also think they contribute, you know, different aspects. Ailish Cranstone's very strong on the sweep, you know, very leg side, whereas Bry's looking to sort of hit powerful shots down the ground, and that's very hard to bowl to.
Exactly that, and this partnership is one the Stars fans out there are going to want to continue. (81) to win, and Holly Armitage, the captain's bringing it upon herself here. She didn't bowl in the eliminator at all, but she's bringing her leg spin on here.
I feel like this could go one of two ways. It's either going to be a bit of genius and going to break the partnership, or it could continue in the way that the game's going.
And quite often, these type of bowlers do come in and find that breakthrough. But as a wrist spinner, she's going to be turning it into a left-handed Cranstone. Again, pulled away out to that deep square. Will just be a single. No mid-wicket in place again. Where did the Northern Diamonds go here? Where are they going to get their wicket, Katie?
I think, you know, it's a difficult one. I think you've got to be brave. You've got to try and make something happen. Do we think that Bryony Smith's going to reverse? I don't think it's her go-to. You know, she wants to hit hard.
Poor fielding out there on the rope. That probably should have been stopped, but Bryony Smith picks up another boundary. That was dropped short, pulled away, and 4 more to Bryony Smith's total.
And it's just thinking where she's going to hit it, and she's not looking very square. So I think you could get that fielder at short third into a short mid-wicket and just try and contain a little bit.
Advances this time over the bowler's head. 1 bounce 4. You said this over could go 1 or 2 ways. 2 boundaries from it. Which way is it going here, Katie?
It's going into an expensive over, isn't it? I just thought, you know, the way Bryony Smith plays, part-time leggy, I'm not sure that was the right decision at this stage. I would be looking at bringing one of my wicket takers on to try and break this partnership.
As you said, though, they had to be brave. They had to try something, and they've gone. She's called upon herself. Can she be the game changer, the captain? So far, it's not been the right call. Better delivery round the wicket. Interesting angle with that offside field up.
Flatter as well. Didn't give Bry the chance to sort of come down and place it where she wanted it to.
Play and miss this time. Building some pressure. 2 dot balls to Bryony Smith. She doesn't need to do anything reckless here after picking up the boundaries.
I think from what we touched on previously, this is where we want Bryony Smith to go that step further and just, you know, game management. They're going just over 8 runs and over. Like,
there
she
you
doesn't
go.
need to keep going.
4 more to Bryony Smith. That's beaten the fine leg fielder, but that's nice and controlled boundary. No high risk element to that.
Absolutely, you know, that was a high percentage shot to the leg spinner coming round the wicket. It's going to be pitching outside leg, you can sweep away rather than trying to force it over extra.
71 for none then, 8 overs gone, chasing 139, so needs 68 to win of 12 overs. They are motoring along here at the Stars. The Northern Diamonds need to get a breakthrough, and a breakthrough fast to keep them in this game.
Yeah. I just think she's got so much potential, Bryony Smith, you know, the sky's the limit with her really.
And I think you've played with her at Welsh Fire. I think she really took that role, didn't she, opening the batting. She hit the ball hard. She's hit her own stumps there, has she? They're cheering. I think she's stepped back on and hit her own stumps. If she has, what a way of getting out. Yes, she has. She stepped on her own stumps because the ball went out to deep fine leg, but that is the breakthrough and not one we're used to seeing. 71 for 1. Have you seen anything like that before, Katie?
I can't say I have. I mean, what a way to get out.
So Cranstoun gone for 35 off 27, a very useful knock for her, but what a frustrating way to get out. But using the depth of her crease, she's done that, but that one step too far.
You're not seeing that very often, are you? I don't think she's going to be doing that again.
But the incoming batsman, you see her doing her stretches there, Alice Capsey, the talk of the summer, really made a name for herself in the 100. Just 16 years of age, and what a player she is, and what a superstar we're going to see.
I mean, the future of England cricket's bright, isn't it?
Be interesting how she goes about this here. You see her putting in match-winning knocks in tough situations, which for a youngster is a real asset to have, and I'm sure she'll want to see her team over the line today.
I think we've seen a fearlessness from her, you know, in the 100.
Gone for a ramp first ball. That shows you the fearlessness she has. 2 bounces, rolls over the rope. 4 runs first ball with a ramp shot.
I mean, what can you say to that? I think as a bowler, first ball, you think maybe get a dot in, squeeze, and she goes and ramps it first ball, and I think that just signifies what Alice Capsey's all about.
And this is really hard, isn't it? It's that cat and mouse element, because they decided to have a mid-wicket in place, which means they can't have a fine leg, and Alice Capsey went, okay then, I will hit that nice big gap at fine leg. Will she do it again? They haven't changed the field. She's gone to try to, that's for sure. Nothing on it, and it's hit the keeper. The platform set, though, by Cranstoun and Smith has allowed her to come out and play as she does. She's got nothing to lose here. Mid-wicket now out, and a short fine leg in place. Give herself room. She's hit that hard. She's timed that well. They want 2 there. Bryony Smith says no. But straight out the middle from Alice Capsey. She moves to 5 off just 3 deliveries. 76 for 1.
She means business, hey?
Wide outside the off stump. That is absolutely timed through extra cover and mid-off. 4 runs to Bryony Smith. She moves to 36 off 23. She hasn't mistimed one yet today.
She has not. She's played superbly, and it's just awesome to see. You know, this slightly slower ball, and she's just waited on it, you know, to just find that gap. Brilliant.
The Stars in the commanding position here at the Ageas Bowl. Chasing 139 to be lifting that Charlotte Edwards Cup. Inside edge this time. But they come through for a single. The luck's just not going the Diamonds' way at the moment.
No, it's not, but hopefully that will change soon. Otherwise, this could be over quite quickly.
He's calling Lindsay Smith to come back into the attack. She is their experienced bowler, their wicket taker. She potentially wouldn't be bowling this early on. I think it's her 3rd over we will be seeing now. She's bowled 2 overs for 15 so far, but her captain really needs a breakthrough, so she's calling upon that experience.
Absolutely, you know, in this situation you need your gun bowler, and that is Lindsay Smith.
Smith to Smith, and she bowled her. There you go. The experience has worked. Bryony Smith backing away there to try and cut the ball through the offside, and she's gone. 37 she made off 25 balls, a fantastic innings, but is this an opening up now for the Diamonds?
I mean, the door's certainly open, it's just whether they can get through it. I think, you know, they've still got some experience to come. Alice Davison-Richards, she's played a lot of cricket, she's been around the world, she's got an England cap or two.
Yeah, fantastic bowling then from Lindsay Smith. That call up from the captain Armitage to bring her back from the 3rd is the right decision now. Incoming batsman is Grace Gibbs, a hard-hitting batsman. She's certainly going to take it to these Diamonds bowlers. But the 2 openers now gone, and you feel Diamonds need to pick up a couple of wickets here. And I'm interested what field they put here, because they are still leaving that mid-wicket region open. No, they're not. There's going to be no fine leg. That's the right option here, isn't it, Katie?
I'm happy with that. I just think new batter, you need to squeeze. You know that she's Grace Gibbs, she's an attacking batter. She's going to be looking for those boundaries. If we can dot her up.
Play and miss outside the off stump. Fired in, turned nicely down to that fine leg gap. It will be 2. Gibbs turns quickly. That's nicely weighted and great batting from Gibbs off the mark. Mid-wicket now coming out. They're trying to protect the over. Couple of dots in the wicket. Nice gap in the leg side. Another dot ball finds the fielder at point. Good over this from Lindsay Smith. Cut away nicely this time, out to the cover sweeper. Just be a single to finish the over. Capsey will have to stay at the non-striker's end. 84 for 2.
That's an excellent over, isn't it? Exactly what the Diamonds needed. It'll be interesting to see who comes on now to try and keep this pressure on the Stars.
Don't know about you, Katie, but I was very off put there by a camera being taken. A picture of
I
us.
actually didn't notice.
You're so used to the cameras being on you, Katie. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry in that, Henry. Katie George is subbed out and will be joined by Rosalie. 84 for 2 then at the halfway stage. Stars in the commanding position here.
They're absolutely flying. You can see why they're the side that got straight to the final, can't you?
Leg spin of Levitt back into the attack. That's hit away into the leg side. Winfield is under it. She takes the catch. That is a wicket, the third wicket. Gibbs has gone. She's hit that too well. She's gone for 3, 84 for 3 now.
Oh, we're going to see a little collapse here. It's almost like the South East Stars have got so confident here. They're just keeping going. What does this mean for the game?
I feel like that wasn't the right option. I know that's how Gibbs plays. She wants to hit the ball hard, but at this stage, do you need to take that high risk option when the fielders are out there? Can you just knock the ball, build a partnership? Because 3 wickets have now fallen in quick succession, and the middle order of Stars have got to step up here to get them over the line.
Yeah, they made a really good start getting so far ahead in a really, really good position, but you're exactly right. I think you don't need to be taking any big risks there. Will they come to regret that later on?
55 runs needed. The incoming batsman, Phoebe Frankley, who played for the Birmingham Phoenix in the 100. Didn't get much time in the middle. She's got a big job on her hands here. Change of field. Capsey's on strike, and they're putting that fine leg in place as they know she likes the ramp, the paddle, but mid-wicket is left open for her. Swept away into that region. Good batting from Capsey. You feel it's set up here for Capsey to play that mature innings that we've seen from her so far?
Yeah, I think so. She's got a big job to do now. They've got two on relatively low scores at the moment after such a good start and a good partnership at the beginning. Got to rebuild here a little bit, but in Stars' favour, they've obviously got a lot of runs on the board so far, so they've got a little bit of time to do that rebuilding. What they don't want to do is lose another wicket here, because that could be really crucial.
Advances, this is straight up in the air. Jenny Gunn's come round. She's taken the catch, that is another wicket. Franklin gone. What is going on here at the Ageas Bowl? 4 wickets now. Northern Diamonds are up and about. 85 for 4.
They seem to find Katie Levick absolutely irresistible. That's another unnecessary wicket. Whether that's nerves, whether it's overconfidence, I don't know. But we all know that if you lose wickets, you lose momentum, and actually the run rate goes down. And you don't want to be losing classes of wickets.
And as a fielding team, it does get you up and about, doesn't it? They're really going to try and squeeze these new batsmen, and fair play to them here. It's not over here yet at the Ageas Bowl by any means. But the experienced Davidson Richards comes to the crease. She's been around for a while. And you feel she needs to take some of that experience and work with Alice Capsey here to build a partnership.
Yeah, Alice Davidson Richards, she should have been in this situation before. She's an experienced cricketer now, so she can help Alice Capsey, who is a phenomenal talent, but relatively fresh to this sort of level of domestic cricket. But we need a partnership here for the Stars, otherwise they could be in big trouble.
Capsey advances and just plays it down to long on for a single. Levick bowled 2.5 overs, 2 for 8 so far. Impressive figures for the Northern Diamonds.
Yeah, for me it's the run rate that's really impressive, isn't it, from her?
Davidson Richards uses that maturity and just plays it to that mid-wicket gap. Capsey wants 2, they're throwing it to the keeper's end, she needs to hurry. Well run in the end. And score moves to 88 for 4.
That was actually closer than it looked, I think, that 2. If the throw had gone into the keeper a bit more directly, I think we'd have had trouble. But it signalled positive intent. But yeah, I was just talking about Katie Levick earlier. She's got 2 wickets, but the run rate is incredible. Around about 3s. 3 and over, that's amazing in 2020 cricket.
And she's one that's been around this domestic structure and consistently performed, hasn't she? She's that bowler that finds a way to get wickets, find a way to build pressure, and I actually think for her personally, for her to come into this final, I think she said, I saw an article that she hadn't won a domestic trophy, so a big day for her, and she'll want to be getting her hands on that, and she's certainly helping her team here. Pulled away nicely by Capsey. There's no fielder there. Pure timing. 4 more to Capsey, and Holly Armitage gets punished straight away.
I have to say, I think this is an interesting decision because Armitage had been her first over, she went for 13. I'm not sure it's the right decision to bring her back on, whether she's thinking she might be able to sneak a couple of wickets here, but that might be her thought process. But if she keeps getting hit for boundaries, they're getting fewer and fewer runs to play with.
Turn nicely into the onside, just a single, and we see that so often from Capsey. She hits a boundary and then goes, I'm going to get up the other end, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good cricket. It's good cricket. You've got to kind of make that boundary worth something by keeping it ticking for the rest of the over.
She's got away with that one, dragged down. Can only find the cover fielder who's in the ring. The offside field is up. This time she pierces it. That's a lovely piece of timing. I don't think that's got enough on it to go all the way, but they'll come back for a couple.
I think Holly Armitage will be wanting to get through this over. If she can pick up another wicket, that'll be ideal for her, but she doesn't want to be going for any more boundaries because she's been too expensive already.
Interesting move for me as well. Davidson Richards batting at 6 for the Stars. You saw her, I think, batting at 4 for the Northern Superchargers in the 100, sorry. So she's definitely an experienced player with both bat and ball.
I guess if she's an adaptable player and there's other people in the order who they need to keep stability, that's the decision about why she's gone down the order. If she's able to be adaptable and flexible.
And the Stars lost 4 wickets for 14 runs off just 15 balls. So what an impressive spell of bowling from the Northern Diamonds. That they needed that, and that's brought them back into the game.
They did. They got an interesting challenge now because there's still 8 overs to go, and the Stars have only got to score at just over 5 and over, and they've got an interesting balancing act now, haven't they? The Diamonds. They've got to restrict the runs, but probably they're only really going to win it by taking the wickets. So if they can get to a situation where they can restrict the runs enough that they're building pressure to take those wickets, that's where they need to be, I think.
Armitage calling on the experience of Jenny Gunn. 5.4 required, and over. Yeah, 43 runs needed. Nicely played, just rotating the strike. They're appealing, but they're way in there.
They're probably appealing because they don't think that they should have let them get away with a single there, to be honest. That's too easy. They need to be tighter on that. They shouldn't be letting them get a single like that. But yeah, Jenny Gunn, her first over went for 15, so let's hope for her sake that bowling later on in the innings, she can just rein it in.
The mid-wicket region left open for Alice Capsey. You have to have a fine leg to hurt. That's a wide ball.
In this situation, this stage of the game, you do not want to be giving away extras because it's not just that run that you're getting for the extra, but it's the extra ball as well.
Crunch down the ground by Capsey. Winfield Hill does the fielding. Just a single. Mid-wicket comes in to play. They need some dots here to Alice Davidson-Richards. There's one of them.
Yeah, I think Davidson-Richards has got to be aware that actually they can just knock it around to get this score. She's got to keep a calm head to see the team over the ropes.
Great shot that. Again, timing out to the cover sweeper. Happy for just a single. And that's the Stars 100 up.
That's an incredible effort. 100 off 12.4 overs. Very impressive from South East Stars. .38 needed here for the Stars to take this Charlotte Edwards Cup. It's the final here at the Ageas Bowl. What a belter of a day we've had. The sun is shining. Shorter delivery, but easily pushed into the leg side. They think about two here. Winfield Hill does very well there, and Capsey says no. Just a single to finish the over. 102 for 4, 13 overs gone. Yeah, as much as they might want to push those twos, they've just got to rebuild here. This partnership needs to see them over the total to get that win.
McDonald back into the attack. See lots of slow balls, lots of cutters from her.
Well, you faced a lot of her earlier, didn't you, Emily?
Yeah, not much pace to work with, but very effective. She rolled a lot of cutters, and she got removed. Paige Schofield with one that moved a little as well, so a skillful bowler.
That's what Northern Diamonds need. They need some dot balls. They need to build some pressure, get some dot balls in a row, force something to happen, force South East Stars to take a risk that they might not have taken otherwise. That's the only way they're going to win this game here.
Punched down the ground nicely by Davidson-Richards. Just a single, but that's all they need. Just need 5 and over. 36 needed. The calm head of Capsey composes herself here. She's going to want 2 here. Can they get 2? The answer is no. Great fielding out in the deep by Hopkins.
Yeah, I think the boundary riders are doing really well to do their best to cut off those twos. Crucial in any game, but particularly in this situation of the game where they just got so few runs to play with.
Driven nicely again out to the cover sweeper by Davidson-Richards for another single. Just too easy here for them to milk it about.
Yeah, it feels like maybe they need to do something to the field, because otherwise they're just going to get over the total, get that win, just knocking it around singles.
Hit to mid-off. Could have been a catch. It was a hard chance, but that is 4 runs to Capsey. She moves to 19. What a sweet shot that was.
Yeah, she struck it well. The mid-off fielder just put one hand up to it. I just wonder if she could have gone for 2. It might have made a difference, but regardless, it's 4. The risk paid off.
Turn nicely up to long on, as we often see Capsey do after she hits a boundary. That's 14 overs gone, 110 for 4, 29 required. Charles is avoiding doing some work. He wanted me to do another, but I said no.
Thank you very much, Emily. I was giving you the opportunity to do another. I'm nothing if not giving. Rosalie?
Very generous.
I've done enough talking this summer, surely.
Your voice is tired.
Not at all, although the temperature has just dropped a couple of degrees, and so that's quite pleasant.
Slight breeze, I think, is helping.
110 for 4, 6 overs remain. Still fancy that the South East Stars in the box seat here. That little spell of 15 balls, 4 for 14, just put a bit of undue pressure on them.
Yeah, they got themselves in a bit of a situation, but they're rebuilding really nicely. Both Alice Capsey and Alice Davidson-Richards are looking solid. And they don't really need to do anything. They don't need to force anything here. They've got time. They don't get any bonus points if they do it within a certain number of overs. You know, they've just got to get to that total. It's very simple.
That's well done. It was awkward and bobbling and spinning. Just to keep it to 1. The other thing is that I just wonder if it's worth Holly Armitage just bringing another fielder up here. And that's gone high in the air. There's no one down at long off, and that is a wonderful strike. Alice Capsey can do no wrong this summer. Beautiful use of the feet, clean and crisp strike. Understands where the field is, what risks she can take, and that was a no-risk shot.
She's very impressive, isn't she? Lots of confidence. Levick she's been so economical.
Big appeal, just sliding down, I fancy. We'll talk about pressure relieving. That 6 has done just that.
I think you're right, Charles. I think they've got to do something here. They've got to make a change. It's not enough to just build a few dots and hope that the South East Stars do something silly, because it's getting too simple now. I think they've got to need a bit of inspiration here to make a change, to cause an upset.
Yep, 5 overs remain, and there you can see what is required. Thank you so much for your input today, Rosalie.
You're welcome. I'm going to make
absolutely sensational.
Make way for Katie George.
Rosalie Birch, former England Women's International. Nicely played. Really thumped into the onside. Excellent running as well. And there's another aspect we can wax lyrical about. Alice Capsey, we have done during the course of the summer, but every time she goes out to play, just so hugely impressive. Katie George back alongside me. And that's placement. That's very nice placement. And I think that's just trickled onto the rope. And she is doing this in a stride. So easy for Capsey. She's just leaning on a bat handle, waiting for the next delivery to be bowled. Nonchalant as you like. There you go.
She's just one of those batters that seems to have so much time. Just placed it through the vacant mid-wicket region, splitting the 2 fielders.
She hardly hit it. That was the thing, just leant on it. Lovely timing. It was a placement more than anything. It was directly between deep mid-wicket and long on. It's a sign of a high-class player. This could be the shortest commentary stint for you in history.
It could be. At least they can hear me now.
Yeah, thanks for that. For those of you who were tuned in for the Eliminator, I didn't switch Katie George on for about 4 overs. And nicely done by Davidson Richards. Probably just be a single. No, very well run 2. again, that's been another aspect. They've run very, very hard. They're doing this at a canter. Just 11 runs now required. At the halfway stage, 138 seemed a reasonably testing total. And again, just play that little reverse. Pick yourself up too. It's like playing a forward defensive.
It is for Davison Richards. I think we've seen her play this type of innings quite often. She reads the game very well, knows what she needs to do, and she's just sort of milking runs away while Alice Capsey is hitting it to every part of the pitch.
Well, she did it for the Northern Superchargers. Did Davidson Richards as the over is completed. 130 for 4, 16 overs have been bowled, so 4 remain, just 9 runs to win. We'd seen Davidson Richards before in the Kia Super League, but Capsey, I'm talking about the mainstream. Those of us who cover, we can't cover every game, we're trying to watch as much as we can, but the 100 gave us that opportunity to witness the depth around the country in the women's game. Just a personal point of view, I don't think we've even tapped into what could be possible over the next 4 or 5 years. Are you in agreement?
Oh, absolute agreement. And I think, you know, there was probably questions of what the depth in England was, and it was purely because we haven't been able to see it. And to, you know, first year we've got professionals. There's only going to be more and more professionals in the game. So if we think, you know, the base that we've got now and how good it is currently, just thinking, like you said, 4 or 5 years time, it's exciting. It really is.
Yeah, it's the whole see it, be it thing. And now with the visibility of the 100, not only on Sky, every single game on Sky, but it's on free-to-air television on the BBC. There's Gunn. There's the whiff.
That was slow, wasn't it?
Oh.
I think she played 2 shots to it in the end.
I know.
Probably wise.
I think even Jenny Gunn's got a smile and couldn't believe that it actually, I don't know if it would knock the bails off if it hit the stumps. Oh, it's very well bowled. It's another whiff. I don't even think it's possible, but Rosalie Birch just behind me said, I think that's even slower than the first one.
Are we going to see a third?
Right arm whiff. Just falling short. Capsey maybe predicting that it was coming, trying to play that switch hit, and again, no fielder on the offside boundary, but she's got it in the locker.
I mean, either side, and that was 4, wasn't it?
Happily just to pick up the single. But what we have seen in the women's game, this is the advancement of it. And notice this with Tammy Beaumont the other day. She hits 360. She's got shots. She's got the paddle sweep. She's got the reverse. She's got switch hits. She's got proper sweeps, slog sweeps, driving down the ground, inside out over extra cover. She hits every single area of the outfield. So very difficult to bowl at. Just pick up another single. Will Davidson Richards. Now what we're seeing is the advent of these younger players coming through. They have got those tools. Traditionally, there was really, if you wanted to power hit, it was probably through square leg and cow. Now, the advent of franchise cricket, the level of coaching going up, more professional status, getting a lot more skills. A lot more skilled players.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the coaching's slightly changed as well. You get encouraged to do your way. Obviously, if there's something fundamentally wrong, you need fundamentals, and that's important. But just the encouragement, you know, for Capsey to play her way, to be fearless and, you know, scoop her first ball, I think that's just brilliant to see, and just have that license to play that way.
17 years of age. What does the future hold for her? We hope to see you back in the England side before too long, Katie George. Get fit, would you?
That's the plan.
Right.
Hopefully sooner.
It's
rather
not
than
going to
later.
happen with me just shouting at you. Get fit. That's an order. No, we only got a glimpse really of you in the England colours, and hopefully it's not before too long that you're back playing in the franchise leagues and knocking hard on the door. So, 6 to win. Gonna have to be quick here, Capsey. I'll tell you what, she would have been well gone had that connected. 3 stumps to aim at. A throw slightly awry from Winfield Hill. So 5 more runs for the South East Stars to try and get their hands on the inaugural Charlotte Edwards Cup. Wonder if Lottie will be there to present it. Very, very productive shot for Davidson Richards. Every time she plays it, she picks up 2, like shelling peas. Brings up the 50 partnership between this pair. Capsey 38 not out, Davidson Richards 18 at slightly under a runner ball. 3 more runs required. Field comes in. A little late. One fancies only deep mid-wicket out in situ. Everybody else up inside the circle. 3 to win. Hammered away. What a catch! What a catch! An extra cover. Wonderful pair of hands. I think that's the skipper, Holly Armitage. It is. And trying to finish with a flourish was Davidson Richards. But a piece of brilliance diving away to a right-hand side by Holly Armitage, and victory is going to be delayed by another couple of minutes.
Not too shabby, eh? Ooh.
Well, seen some stunning catches this summer. You've pulled out a couple in your time, this in the red of the Welsh Fire.
Had to contribute some way, didn't I?
Your words. Well, Davidson Richards departs. Kirsty White comes in to join Alice Capsey. I think it would be fitting if it was Capsey who struck the winning run. She's played so beautifully, but I don't think the South East Stars will mind. Get over the line.
Kirsty White's had a lot of experience opening as well. She can hold her back, that's for sure.
It's been pretty one-sided, I have to say. With the bat, really fabulous start from Bryony Smith. Ailish Cranston as well. The power of them really biffing it in the power play. So still 3 to win. Looked as though Kirsty White wanted to do it in one delivery.
She certainly thought about it, didn't she? What are you doing then? Are you going for the big one?
No, you got to, haven't you? There's a cup to be lifted.
Absolutely.
Gonna try
Got
and
to finish on a high.
Lace it as hard as you possibly can. Stride off, bat aloft. Oh, I thought that could have been the one. It's actually well stopped in the end. Not quite sure if Lauren Winfield Hill knew where the ball was after fielding it. So 1 ball left of this 18th over, 2 to win. She's got to. She's got to. It's got to be going through her head. 17 years old.
I think it's written in the script.
You can see she's going to wind up here. And she's got one of them, and that should be the second, and that will be it. And the South East Stars, the inaugural champions of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. They've done it in fine style. They've done it with 12 balls remaining. Alice Capsey finishing 40 not out. And might well, they hug each other. Maybe a game too many for the Northern Diamonds. Did look a little leggy. It's been an energy-sapping afternoon. They had to get past the Southern Vipers first with the fresh legs of the South East Stars. They topped the group. 5 victories from 6 games played, and it is they who will hold the trophy aloft after victory by 5 wickets. Casey George, really, after that power play, there was only ever one side in it.
They just got ahead of the run rate, didn't they, so early on, and then from then, you know, it does take something special to bring that back down and win the game. I think, you know, Stars come out there and played brilliantly. There's a reason they were straight through to the final. They've been the most consistent, and I think the important thing is that yes, the likes of Capsey, Bryony have performed so well, but you've had others chipping in. You've had Ailish today, you've had Davison Richards playing those key roles, and then you've had Grace Gibbs playing little cameos as well.
Well, the handshakes go round in the middle. Diamonds have played their parts today as well. Excellent performance against the Southern Vipers. I just wonder, even though people might say, oh, it's only another 20 over match, you know, there will have been a lot of energy expended in that first match to get them to this, and this is of course the advantage of finishing top of your group and getting straight through to the final. There has to be some advantage of that. Just felt, as we see the South East Stars embrace in their huddle, surely some self-congratulation, some relief, but I just wonder if that extra game, especially towards the back end with the ball, just a little bit too much for the Diamonds.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think, you know, they've been so clinical with the ball, their lines and lengths throughout the tournament. You know, it's won them a lot of games, and in the end they've just got a little bit wayward both sides of the wicket, and it's just helped the Stars on their way. I don't think you can take credit away from the Stars. They've done brilliantly there today, and unfortunately they've been the better team. I do think that the 2 games in a day is probably a little bit too much. I do think that it should be an even playing field to be able to be fresh going into it, but they've earned the right to go straight through.
We're gonna disagree on that. I quite like it, but I'm not playing in it. But I mean, I think there has to be, and it's just my opinion, and not saying it's right, but from my perspective, I think there's got to be some reward for finishing top of your group, as the South East Stars did in that eliminator, as we saw. But we did see in the 100, the eliminator was the day before, only 24 hours rest for them for the following day, which again, something that may be looked at. Is that something you'd be in favour of?
Yeah, so I don't mind the fact that you go straight through to the final. I think that's great, and I think, you know, you've played that well, you deserve to go. But I do think, like we've seen previously with the 100, you play that 24 hours before, just so that you can have the opportunity to have the best game that you can do and not be sort of 40 overs already in.
Well, we've got 2 winners of the women's competition so far, and they're based in and around South London. South East Stars, victors of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. The 100 women's tournament was won by the Oval Invincibles. Still to be decided, the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. Southern Vipers leading the way in that. Diamonds second. South East Stars are in 5th position, but plenty to play for in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy in 2021. That will get back up and running again. Conclusion of this tournament. But overall, a comfortable victory for the South East Stars. Northern Diamonds setting 138 for 4. Fine 59 not out from Holly Armitage, the captain, off 48 deliveries, including 4 fours. Contributions from Bess Heath, 22 from 22, and 3 fours in that. Jenny Gunn, 22 from 16. A couple of boundaries. Steer Callis making 18 from 19. At the halfway stage, as we look at the South East Stars card, the response 139 for 5. Ailish Cranston, 35 from 27. Bryony Smith, 37 from 25. Great strike rates from the pair of them. Bryony Smith striking at 148, Cranston at 130. And even though they had that little meltdown in the middle of the innings, 4 for 14, they lost in 15 deliveries. Alice Capsey held her nerve at 17 years of age, 40 not out off 26 deliveries. Strike rate of 153, and when you add into the time that she was at the crease with all the batters falling around her. Shows age beyond her years, does it not?
Absolutely. You know, the maturity. She started off very fast in her innings early on, but then just sort of almost took it down just a notch. You know, picking gaps, still getting those boundaries, but you know, it was sensible. It was low risk. It wasn't. We saw those wickets fall, and they were perhaps questionable in terms of high risk. But we just saw Capsey, you know, just go about her business, and it was a joy to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was one of the aspects that we saw in the 100, and we've seen even more evident here, is that composure that she has at the crease. And it can be easy sometimes in a T20 game to actually feel or get the feeling that you can hit every ball for four. And at such a tender age, that would be something that you could be prone to or guilty of. Not from her. It's actually that maturity at the crease, picking your shots, knowing your areas and the right options at the right time is an aspect that is sometimes overlooked. You can turn around and say that, you know, she's got all the shots. That's great, having the skills, but being able to execute them at the right time, given the circumstance of what she faces in the middle, is something that Lisa Keightley is going to be taking a very close look at.
I think that's why she's so consistent. You know, we talk about consistency, T20, how often do you come off? I mean, I can't remember the last time she didn't get double figures.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to say for a 17-year-old. And I think, you know, if she keeps going on like this, you know, there's going to be questions of when do you pick her?
Does she go to Australia? Is she going to be in the mix? Is she going to be talked about going on the Women's Ashes?
She's definitely in the mix, I think. I think it was touched on air in the game yesterday that, you know, it's just trying to find a place in that batting order for her. But you could argue the way she's going, you've got to find a place for her almost. But I think, you know, if she carries on like this, I think she's got to be on the plane.
Well, even if she can't find her way in, you look at if Bouchier continues, it'll be interesting to see how they line up in the one-day series, England. In that middle order, Sophia Dunkley has burst onto the scene, had a wonderful summer. That's got that sorted. Heather Knight sorted up there. Tammy Beaumont, there's an opening spot, possibly, in the 50-over game. Lauren Winfield-Hill has it at the moment, but could do with a little bit more consistency.
She might be looking over her shoulder.
Yeah.
I think
Nat Sivers sorted in that top order, so you're looking at maybe a spot at the top of the order, maybe at 6. You know, Fran Wilson's been sort of tinkering around about that sort of area too.
you've seen Amy Jones tinker as well. You know, she's opened previously. She's now found her place in the middle order, and she's doing brilliantly. So you could argue that you don't want to move her because she's been doing so well.
But that's that extra bowling option she gives you too. Isn't this great though, this conversation? I'm not telling you about the standard of the conversation, I'm saying the topic is that having these now options, it used to be, and I've said this many times over the course of this summer, but time was not long ago where it was a more difficult club to get out of than in the England team. Now there are people genuinely banging on the door asking to be selected, which does two things. A, shows you about the depth, but B, also keeps those who are in the side on their toes, because get into a little bit of a rut or a lack of form and there's going to be someone taking your place.
I think that's really good as well. You know, you're always striving to improve, but sometimes if you're at that level, it's trying to find out how to get that little bit better, that little bit more, and then having people sort of chomping at the bit to get your place, it makes you want to improve, and you know that you have to improve. And the fact that we haven't even mentioned Charlotte Dean, you know, she's had a wonderful summer too. She can bat probably, you know, anywhere in that middle order, and her off spin is more than handy. So I think it's looking very bright and exciting. It'll be interesting to see who does get on that plane.
Everybody taking a medal out of the box. I hope they've got enough. There's the skipper, microphone in hand. We're going to hear from her in a moment. Emily Windsor is down there feeling a little nervous. She was quite nervous about doing the interview with the captain, giving her a little pep talk. So hopefully she'll be ready to go. I'm sure she'll take it all in her stride, do very well. Bryony Smith will come and join her team the trophy there, waiting to be held aloft. All the medals draped round the players' necks. And gladly behind that great big board, hopefully we'll get a voice of God to announce it, that they are the winners. And we do.
You're talking to that?
Yeah.
She's going to have to do that smile more than once over the next couple of hours. receiving the applause of those who have come to watch at the Ageas Bowl. Just over 1,300 people making their way down, and something tells me that is going to improve year on year. A little bit more awareness of the competition when people get to know more of the women's players through the 100, know that there's other cricket available to watch involving these stars, or the stars that we have witnessed. I think that is going to improve the numbers on the crowds before too long. Goodness, they're saying still as they can for that particular one, getting the right smiles and the right angles behind the winner's board. We are going to hear from Bryony Smith, and hopefully that trophy goes around with them wherever they're going to be celebrating around Southampton tonight. There's a couple of good spots around, even though Sunday night's not the busiest night. I'm sure they'll make it busy.
Yeah, there's a few good spots in Southampton. I was there myself Friday night.
Oh, really? Just testing it out for them.
Just making sure it's appropriate.
Yes, absolutely. Well done you. It's a helpful guide. I'm sure you will point them in the right direction.
I think they truly deserve it, though. It's such a nice moment, isn't it, lifting that trophy, those smiles, parents looking on proudly. Like, you take that, don't you, and you remember that. You tell your grandkids.
Very much so. Well, the hover cover is being manoeuvred on. I did see Emily Windsor in preparation to speak to Bryony Smith, and they're ready to go right now.
Ollie, are you happy?
No, he's not happy.
So here with the winning captain, Bryony Smith. Firstly, how does it feel to have your hands on that Charlotte Edwards Cup trophy?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm so proud of all the girls. I think we really deserve this one. We put in some really strong performances over the last few weeks and before the 100 as well. So yeah, absolutely buzzing.
Up the stars. And at the halfway stage, chasing 139, what was the mood in the camp?
We're really positive actually. We knew it was a good pitch. The outfield was rapid as well. But yeah, a bit nervous when we lost sort of 2 or 3 in the middle, but we knew that we had the depth to do it. So yeah, really positive.
And that 71-run opening partnership between yourself and Ailish Cranstone, that really set up the chase.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't quite fired together recently, but yeah, it's come out right at the right time. Ailish played really well. We just looked to be really positive from the start, and that's exactly what we did.
And finally, a word on Alice Capsey, 40 off 26 balls and hitting the winning runs. What a summer she's having.
She's a bit of a superstar, isn't she? No, she's a legend. I think she's going to be around for a very long time, and if she keeps doing that, I'm sure she'll be in an England shirt soon.
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Celebrations.
Thank you.
Okay, finish, mate. Coffee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wasn't it?
Well, a golden evening here at the Ageas Bowl, and I'm sure they'll be partying on long into the night, will the South East Stars. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage here on Sky Sports YouTube channel and the ECB stream. My thanks to Emily Windsor, to Rosalie Birch, to Katie George, and to all of our technical gurus for getting us online and on the stream. And hopefully you've enjoyed the 2 contests that we've witnessed today. South East Stars are the champions of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. From me, Charles Dagnall, good night.